Imagine waking up with a sharp pain in your chest, the kind that tells you immediately something is very wrong. You call for help, someone answers, and then they say something that stops your heart in a completely different way. Help is 2 days away. Not because traffic is bad, not because the roads are icy, but because between you and the nearest hospital, there are 800 kilometers of frozen ocean, a flight through Iceland, and a helicopter that won't take off if the weather turns. And in this part of the world, the weather almost always turns. This is not a hypothetical. This is Tuesday morning in Ittoqqortoormiit. Say it slowly, Ittoqqortoormiit. A settlement on the northeastern coast of Greenland, 500 kilometers north of the Arctic Circle. By almost any measurement, one of the most remote inhabited places on Earth. Population, 325 people. That's it. That's everyone. And today, we're going inside. We're going to ask one simple question with a very complicated answer. What does it actually cost to live at the edge of the world? Part 1. The geography of isolation. Geography here is everything. It shapes every moment of daily life. Greenland is enormous, 3 times the size of Texas, but its total population is only 56,000. That's less than most mid-sized cities. And of those 56,000, exactly 325 of them call Ittoqqortoormiit home. Getting there is an exercise in patience and weather luck. You fly to Reykjavik, Iceland, then board one of just 2 weekly flights to a remote airstrip called Nurlarit, which is still 38 kilometers from the actual town. Then a helicopter for the final stretch, 2 days total on a good day. In winter, when Arctic winds ground the helicopter for days at a time, you simply wait. There are no roads, no railway, no bridge. The nearest other settlement is 831 kilometers away. For 9 months of the year, the sea is locked solid under ice. Supply ships, only 2 per year, arriving between July and September, bring in the bulk of everything: food, medicine, goods. When the ice closes back in, whatever made it onto those shelves has to last. The town was founded in 1925, when a Danish colonial expedition led by explorer Ejnar Mikkelsen transported around 70 Inuit families here, some willing, some not, to establish Danish sovereignty over northeastern Greenland. The Inuit who settled here call themselves Tunnumiit, people of the East. Their roots in this landscape go back thousands of years, long before any Danish ship arrived. By 2006, the community had grown to 539 people. Today, it's 325 and falling. Something is pulling people away. Something else is keeping the rest here. That tension is the heart of this story. Part 2. Daily life at the edge. So what does an ordinary day look like? When NPR journalist Rebecca Hersher visited and walked into the only store, bananas were $9 each. The milk was past its sell-by date. She bought peanuts and left. $9 bananas tells you almost everything about daily life here. Because food isn't just something you buy, it's something you hunt. The waters around Ittoqqortoormiit hold ringed seals, narwhals, walruses, polar bears. The tundra has musk ox and Arctic char. These aren't delicacies, they are the food system. The government allocates 35 polar bear hunting permits per year. Around 35 musk ox can be taken annually. Hunters still travel by dog sled, not for tourism, but because it's the most reliable Arctic transport there is. In the dark months of winter, you can see hunters walking out across the frozen ocean before dawn, standing motionless over a seal's breathing hole, rifle ready, waiting. That is not history. That happened last winter. Children attend the local school, but the student population has dropped from 138 years ago to just 55 today. When kids finish basic school, they leave, sent to secondary schools in Western Greenland or Denmark, and most never come back. Every year, the community watches its youngest generation board a helicopter and quietly wonders how many it will see again. The town has a church, a small museum, colorful houses painted red and yellow and green. There's even an AstroTurf football pitch. Soccer is enormous in Greenland. There is internet, technically, but it's slow, expensive, and unreliable, just enough to remind people of the world beyond the ice, not quite enough to feel like part of it. Part 3. When emergencies strike. Now the part that should make anyone pause. Ittoqqortoormiit has no permanent doctor, only periodic medical visits. The nearest hospital with real care is in Nuuk, Greenland's capital, a 2-day journey on a good day, via helicopter, Iceland, and another flight. Think about what that means. A heart attack, a ruptured appendix, a complicated birth. These are conditions where minutes matter. Here, the clock starts ticking and then everyone waits for weather. The local police officer, Torben Close, is the single full-time officer for 325 people. He told WWF researchers that because professional social support doesn't exist here, welfare and crisis response largely fall on him. One person covering everything. Medical evacuations do happen. They're coordinated through emergency services and patients are airlifted out. But the helicopter won't fly in a blizzard. It won't lift in near-zero visibility. And in Ittoqqortoormiit, those conditions arrive regularly and without warning. In 2025, the Danish government finally approved funding for a direct airport, something the community has wanted for decades. It will eliminate the most dangerous gap in emergency response. But it doesn't exist yet. Until it does, the people here treat what they can, stabilize what they can't, and wait for clear skies. Part 4, 58 Days Without the Sun. In late November, the sun sets over Ittoqqortoormiit, and it does not rise again for 58 days. 58 days of darkness. The sky shifts between deep black and a pale, bruised twilight around midday. Average winter temperature, -20 Celsius. The average for the entire year is -5. And what sustained darkness does to the human mind is something the data makes impossible to ignore. Greenland has one of the highest suicide rates in the world. A study published in BMC Psychiatry found that between 1980 and 2018, Greenland averaged 96 suicides per 100,000 people annually, compared to a global average of roughly 9. Among young men aged 15 to 24, rates at peak periods exceeded 500 per 100,000. Researchers trace these numbers to several interconnected causes: colonial disruption, intergenerational trauma, alcohol, isolation, and a collision between ancient Inuit culture and a modernizing Western world arriving too fast for communities to absorb. It wasn't the adults who were relocated who showed the highest rates. It was their children, the first generation to grow up with one foot in each world, fully belonging to neither. And yet, alongside those statistics, something else consistently emerges: resilience. When NPR's Rebecca Hersher asked a local woman named Barsaladson how she copes with the polar darkness, the woman laughed. "We will not have it," she said, referring to the light therapy lamps people elsewhere use for seasonal depression. "Why should we stare at it? We don't need that." That's not denial. That's a different relationship with darkness, one built across generations in this specific landscape. When the sun finally returns after those 58 days, the whole town celebrates. Children put on their snowsuits, climb a nearby hill with cardboard cutouts of the sun they've decorated themselves, stand in a circle, and sing a welcome song. No amount of clinical data can fully capture what that moment contains. A community that has learned not just to endure the dark, but to celebrate the light when it comes back. Part 5, When the Ice Goes. But there is another crisis unfolding in Ittoqqortoormiit, slower, quieter, and in some ways more threatening than all the others. The ice is changing. Eric Pedersen has run the town's meteorological station for over 19 years, sending up weather balloons twice daily. Over those years, he's watched the numbers shift. As he told WWF researchers, over the last 2 years, the ice has broken up in spring much earlier than normal, and in February it was 10.5 degrees Celsius warmer than normal. 10.5 degrees warmer in February. A local hunting officer named Erling Madsen put it simply: 10 years ago we had sea ice, now there is none in summertime, and when the big ice goes, the polar bear comes. Both halves of that sentence matter. The sea ice is not just landscape, it's infrastructure. Hunters travel on it by dog sled to reach their prey. When it freezes later and breaks up earlier, the hunting season shrinks. When it becomes unpredictable, traveling it becomes deadly. And as it retreats, it takes the entire subsistence economy with it. And the polar bears, pushed off their hunting grounds by vanishing ice, are now coming into town. Residents report waking to find bears sleeping near their homes. School outings require an armed adult. The town launched a polar bear patrol in 2015, with volunteers going out by snowmobile before dawn to scare bears away before children walk to school. The animals are not the enemy. They are, like the people of this community, caught in a situation not of their making, trying to survive in a world reorganizing itself faster than either can adapt to. Part 6, Why Stay and Whether They Can. And so, why do people stay? Why raise children here, where the nearest doctor is 2 days away? The sun disappears for 2 months, the shelves empty by June, and a polar bear might be outside your door in the morning. The question reveals an assumption. That comfort is the highest value. That access to hospitals and supermarkets and reliable internet is the correct measure of a good life. The people of Ittoqqortoormiit would not agree. Isaac Pike, 60 years old, has lived here his entire life. He still hunts by dog sled. When asked about his life, he didn't speak of what he lacked. He spoke of the ice, the animals, the roots, the knowledge, a knowledge that took a lifetime to build and exists nowhere else on earth. To leave is not just to move somewhere. It is to become someone who can no longer read the ice, who cannot pass that knowledge to children. To leave, for many, is to lose a self. For many in Ittoqqortoormiit, staying is also a form of resistance. The Inuit of East Greenland were not consulted when Denmark relocated them here in 1925. They were not consulted during the modernization of the 1960s and 70s, when communities across Greenland were pressured into cities that had no room for who they were. Staying, then, is continuity, a refusal to let that disruption win. But can they stay? The population has dropped 40% since 2006. Young people leave and don't return. The community is aging. The school is shrinking. The hunting economy is being squeezed by climate change. And the social infrastructure, doctors, mental health services, professional support, was never really there to begin with. The 2025 airport announcement matters, but an airport doesn't restore the sea ice. It doesn't bring back the families who have already left. It doesn't tell a teenager in Ittoqqortoormiit what their future looks like. Other communities like this one have already disappeared, emptied by economics, by withdrawn services, by the quiet arithmetic of a world that decided they were too difficult to sustain. There are ghost towns in the Arctic, abandoned churches, hunting grounds that people once knew by name and can no longer reach. Ittoqqortoormiit is not yet one of those places, but it can feel the pull. Conclusion. We started with a chest pain. One person, 2 days from help, no helicopter in sight. That image wasn't meant to generate pity, it was meant to generate attention. Because how a society treats its most remote communities, the infrastructure it builds, the resources it commits, the dignity it extends, says something essential about what it actually values. Not what it claims to value, what it does. The people of Ittoqqortoormiit have spent 100 years on the front line of isolation. They have survived colonial relocation, Arctic winters, shrinking ice, bears in their streets, and a world changing faster than ancient knowledge can follow. They have watched their numbers fall, their children leave, their ice thin. And still, every January, when the sun comes back after 58 days of darkness, the children climb a hill, hold up cardboard suns, and sing a welcome song. That is not just survival. That is a community that has decided, deliberately, that this life, difficult, cold, remote, and uncertain, is worth living. That the ice and the animals and the silence add up to something that cannot simply be replaced by moving somewhere more convenient. We live in a world obsessed with connectivity, faster internet, more flights, next-day delivery. Ittoqqortoormiit has almost none of that. What it has instead is the kind of connection that only comes from genuine dependence on each other, from being your neighbor's first responder, from sharing a meal with someone whose family you've known for 3 generations. That is worth something. The last town on Earth is still standing, lights on, smoke from the chimneys. Somewhere out on the ice right now, a hunter is standing still, watching a seal's breathing hole, waiting, with patience that most of us have long since forgotten. He is not surviving on the margins of civilization. He is at the center of his own.